Growing up, I was never quite the fit. I was the outsider, the new kid on town, the one that spoke different language and looked different. When I was 7 years old, we moved from South Korea to the Philippines, where I did not speak a single English nor understand any Tagalog, and we were the only Koreans in town. Then again, when I was 11, we moved to Canada, rural Alberta, where once again, we were the only people of color. And now, when I go back to South Korea, they say, Michelle, you don't look quite Korean. Instead, they said, I knew you were from a different country. Yes, I'm a misfit, but we all are in one way or the other. And today, I would like to share with you how being a misfit allowed me to see this world in a wider view, and how it allowed me to paint my life in a way that I never expected it to be. So, in order to paint color of life, what do you need? First, you have to have your approximate plan on what you're going to be painting. Then, you need your colors, as well as the tools. But unlike traditional painting, colors are not just given to you. Instead, you will be collecting them as part of your experiences. And tools are skills and action that you will be taking in order to make your painting. The first color I collected was when I was 4 years old. I remember living with our grandparents, and my grandpa was suffering from cancer. So I asked my parents, what can I do to help? And of course, they said, you can be a doctor. So I wanted to become a doctor to help my grandpa and others who are suffering just like him. And soon again, adults has told me, you have to study really hard in order for you to become a doctor. And I took that to my heart. I studied hard, I was always confident, I asked a lot of questions and asked like a leader. And then I was told sooner or later that, Michelle, actually, that's not quite the good Korean girl that you seek for. You have to be a little bit more quieter, ask less questions, and be humble. Meanwhile, my younger brother and boy cousins can run around like crazy, ask ridiculous questions, and be loud, because that's quite the man leader quality. Then I moved to the Philippines when I was 7 years old. I never knew a country could have summer forever, or there is lizards living in your house, or you can walk into someone else's house with your shoes on. Actually, something that I really did not know at the time was that there were children around my age who does not get to go to school. How can I forget about the day that I stepped out of the airport, felt the warm tropical air, got onto our local taxi, and in the middle of the highway, I hear this knock from the window. There are children younger than my age asking for money, and my tour guide at the time said, you cannot open the door and give them money because more of them will come and you will cause a traffic jam. How can I forget about the day when I was going to school, seeing all these children, even younger than me at the time, without any shoes on, but having to sell flowers to make their living. Yes, there's poverty and homelessness in South Korea. However, it was not as prevalent. And I remember this color gray being one of the first color of inequality that I noticed at a young age. Something I wanted to share about color is that color itself does not have meaning alone until you give them some meaning. And usually when you're painting, you can paint with your hands, but usually we use different tools. And in color of your life, tools are actions and skills that you can take to make these changes to your painting. So I decided to act. I was given color gray. So I decided to take action. Typhoons happen in the Philippines every single year. And for locals, it was almost like a norm. But how is it normal that people who are suffering and living under poverty are the ones impacted most by this catastrophic event? So I decided to take action, first running into our school elementary local council election and joining a typhoon rescue committee, and then start raising funds, money, and goods so that we can help children and families who are suffering. And these initiatives even expanded farther on into collecting school supplies, funds, and donations for children who does not get the educational opportunity. I learned that it is up to you, and being a misfit allowed me to see that there are things that are not okay coming from outside's perspective and to take action. Then I moved to Canada, rural Alberta when I was 11, from Provost, Eckville, to Rocky Mountain House, which are all rural towns in Alberta. And once again, this time we were one of the only people of color in our neighborhood. However, I noticed few things have changed. I have already gained previous skills. I know my passion, my values, willingness to help. And it also allowed me to realize, being in this new setting, that actually there are more tools I learned: adaptability and flexibility. I was no longer afraid of change. I can learn new language, I can adapt to new cultural norms and expectations. But something else in color of blue was coming in my life. My parents have divorced, my mom's business went bankrupt, and I all of a sudden have two stepbrothers and stepdad who was suffering from mental health challenges. So because English was not our first language, and I was the eldest child, I helped my parents with calling things like CRA, energy, or joining them in parents-teacher interview for my brothers. Something that was harder than this was the status and system. All of a sudden, because we were applying for permanent residency, we were always living under uncertainty. My mom graduated from top university in South Korea with 15+ experience of executive position. But because we have now moved to a country, she now had to pay in a low-paying job for long hours. Although this was a challenge, there are things you still learn: resilience and persistence. Things happen in life whether you like it or not. And there are things that can be out of your control. However, you can choose on how you're going to be spending your energy and opportunity. Because we were living in a small town, there was not as much opportunity. So I decided to seek for one. There's one hospital in our town. So I went into our hospital, asked if I can volunteer my time. So I started as a visiting volunteer at the hospital and eventually became the youngest certified palliative care assistant for the elders. I joined our students' council and eventually became the president, first woman of color in our high school. And I always look for other opportunities, like joining the literacy group in our public library to help other children to learn their own languages. So I found out it will be up to you to decide what you can do on your colors and find these opportunities as well. In my last year of high school, I applied for numerous universities in Canada and US, and I decided to go to University of Alberta. Because if you do not know yet, it takes about $100,000 to attend tuition fee alone for any of this university to finish your degree. And I couldn't get student loans from South Korea because I left Korea when I was about 7 years old, nor in Canada because we were still waiting for our status. Truthfully, U of A was not my first choice. And actually, my mom only wanted me to apply for that school because she wanted me to stay closer to home. However, it was really surprising that it brought me so many opportunities, friendship, and mentorship that I never expected it to be in color of red. When I was in my university, I joined numerous student groups and clubs because I was fascinated that all of a sudden there are all these students from all around the world, different paths of life, coming here to learn and make changes. I also co-founded groups like United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, TEDxUAlberta, and joined numerous other opportunities whenever I can work and help others. In fact, I was here 5 years ago today organizing this event, and I'm here today speaking, and I felt like a full circle moment. I always wanted to become a doctor because that's what people say if you want to help people and if you're smart. But sooner or later, through these experiences, I learned that there are so many ways you can help people and others. This is how I got to know more about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I was able to join Convention of United Nations Women, all the way to my master's degree in Harvard University, working towards my social justice, environment, health, and policy, and find the intersection between all of them. Going back to color pink, when I was 4 years old, I felt that gender inequality. And now I co-founded with some other amazing women, Jivan Foundation in India, working towards and working with rural girls in India who does not get any education because of their gender. I know we all have different experiences, and we probably all have different colors. But I am sure that there would have been some moment or time that you felt like a misfit, or you do not belong here. It's hard to get colors that you did not expect. However, we also have to remember that in order to paint our lives, or to paint, you need these colors. And it's up to you to decide what the meaning of these colors will be. There are many tools and skills I would like to share, but I think there's 3 things that I want to share today. First, self-reflect. It is very important for you to think about what did that experience meant for you, and realize if you felt like it was a misfit, that's okay. That means you're unique and you can turn it into your strength. And through self-reflection, you'll be able to gain even more tools. Second, find your goals. It can be short-term or long-term. I started journaling when I was 14, and it allowed me to really reflect, but also change your goals as you grow. Last one here is be flexible. It's possible that I may have planted or thought about painting a pink butterfly, but somewhere, somehow, someone might drop that gray color in your canvas. Yes, it's hard, but then again, it's up to you to decide what to do with that color, and that will make your painting more unique. I would like to take a moment here, knowing that all of you bring different colors and experiences, and reflect on these 3 questions. What are your colors? What are the tools are you going to be using? And how are you planning to paint your life? Thank you.